And we are live.
We're live.
Hello. Good afternoon. Pnawn da, everybody. Welcome to Adobe Digital Leaders. So I'm Meredith from the UK team, and that is not Dom over there. That isn't Dom. That's a...
I am not Dom.
This is our friend Jesse, who is from. Jesse, tell us where you're joining us from. It's afternoon for us.
I'm from New York. Forget about it. I'm walking here. So yeah, I'm Gabagool. I'm happy. Yeah, no, happy to be here. I'm another member of the education team. I'm coming to you from just outside New York City, and I'm really excited to be here with all of you.
Brilliant. Yeah, Jesse's going to be helping us today. We're going to be working through two activities for Empathy Day. It is Empathy Day today. So we've got a challenge page for you, and the URL to get to the challenge page is scrolling along at the bottom of the screen there, bit.ly/expressempathy24. And we go through that in just a little bit. We've already got some comments in already. We've got, hello, Hughes. Shout out to year 6 at Waldo Williams from Mrs. Hughes. Hello, Shemai, how are you, year 6 at Waldo Williams? So get your comments in. If we've got students joining on the StreamYard, then maybe it's a good idea that you guys don't put comments in. If we just get teachers putting the comments in, that'll be useful for me to be able to see who's who to put them up. That'll be great. Thanks very much. Right, now then, we have got some rules here, Jesse, and maybe you don't know this. We've got some rules in Adobe Digital Leaders Club. It's true. Yeah, but they're not too serious. So here we go. Here are our rules. Rule number 1 is if we're going too fast, then you are welcome to pause this video and catch up as it suits you. You don't have to follow along live. Saying that, we've got some iPad schools and a lot of browser schools on today. So I'm going to be showing this activity on the iPad, and then Jesse's going to be doing the same thing on the browser. So you might not need to pause. You're going to have some time there whilst we're passing back and forth to catch up. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is definitely the best of the rules, which is we've got swag for all of the students that complete 1 or 2 of these activities. So if you completed either 1 or both of these activities today, your teacher will receive an email this afternoon with a form to fill in telling us how many students completed the activities, and then we will send some free swag to your school. How amazing is that, Jesse?
I love it.
Yeah, we're not sending it to New York. We can't afford the stamps. Sorry. And then the third rule is Adobe Leaders. So the name of these sessions is Adobe Digital Leaders. And what makes a digital leader is if you take the skills that you learn on our sessions and then go to different classes in your school and teach different groups of kids in your school, or maybe show some teachers in your school that don't know how to use Express, how to use Express. That makes you a digital leader. And for digital leaders, we've got VIP swag. What do you think about that,
VIP
Mr.
swag. What is the VIP swag?
Well,
no doubt, or
I don't actually know because I've never received any.
Just know it's VIP.
Yeah, it's VIP. Okay. That's all I know. It's special swag for the digital leaders. Right. Okay, cool. So let's just jump over then and I'll talk you through the challenge page. So the challenge page is here. Here we go. So to get to the challenge page, as we said, if you're on a browser, just open up a tab next door to Express and type in bit.ly, so bit.ly/expressempathy24. Or if you're on an iPad or a device with a camera, you could just point your camera at the big screen in your classroom right now, and you could use the QR code and join us like Jesse's doing it right now, and use the QR code to join us there. And that'll just bring you to this page. And on this page, we've got information about the 2 activities we're going to be doing today. So let's have a quick chat about those. So activity 1, challenge 1 is we're going to be creating an Empathy Day, an empathy resolution poster. So on Empathy Day, and if you teachers want to do some more activities about Empathy Day, there's a link there on the page. That button takes you to the Empathy Lab website, where they got loads of Empathy Day activities. And one of those things is to think about an empathy resolution. And we've got some examples. If you can't think of an empathy resolution that you'd like to make, we've got some examples there on the page there. We're going to be making this really cool 3D text effect poster, and we're going to be leaning into the color schemes and themes that are available in Express as well to help us keep our design all on track. And then our second activity, our second challenge, we're actually going to be using the drawing app in Express to make an avatar and then give our avatar different emotions. And it's going to help us to kind of read other people's emotions and think more about how other people are feeling. So for that second challenge, I'm afraid that people that are using iPads won't be able to join us for that. You'll have to drop off after the first challenge because we don't have drawing in the iPad app yet. It's coming this summer. It'll be with us for the new school year. Yeah. So it's coming this summer, but we don't have it as yet. Okay, so those of you on iPads, I'm afraid you'll have to drop off when we get to that second challenge. Right, Jesse is chomping at the bit and ready to get cracking. So I'm going to jump over to the Express app on my iPad, and let's start with this empathy resolution poster. Right then. Now then, I'm going to be starting with the poster. So as you can see, I've got my ribbon across the top. So if I scroll across the ribbon, I've got all these different types of projects I can make. And over towards the right-hand side, maybe like the 6th from the end, it says posters. So I'm just going to tap on that. And it's going to open up a blank poster for me. And it says double tap to edit text. So I'll do what it says. And I'm going to tap. And I'm just going to start with my title, which is Empathy Day. So Empathy Day. Like that. And then I'm going to hit done. Now, with that selected, we're going to be using the magic or a dynamic text layout. So on the iPad, it's called a magic text layout. And on the browser, it's called a dynamic text layout. Let me just get this banner out of the way at the bottom. There we go. So to get that text layout, I need to go to align at the bottom there, towards the end of the ribbon, align, and you can see right in the middle it says magic. Now, when Jesse's showing you this on the browser, that's called dynamic. Right, so there's my title. So what I'm going to do now is, whilst I pass over to Jesse, is I'm going to be choosing a font. So empathy is all about thinking of other people's feelings. So for me, this font's a bit spiky for empathy. I think I want something a bit more rounded, a little bit more friendly looking. So I'm going to go through my fonts and choose a suitable font for Empathy Day. So I'm just going to pass you over to Mr. Jesse Lubinsky's screen. There you are, Jesse. Take it away. Take us to there.
So for those of you who are using your browser, notice I'm on my education home screen. And poster actually happens to be one of the options that you can see right underneath in that first row under suggested. We see that poster option. So I'm going to choose poster option and browse my templates. And I actually am just going to want to start off, right, like with what I have here, this blank one. So even though I have all these amazing options over here to choose from, I'm going to start off with my blank poster. Now, just like we saw for the iPad version, I'm going to select text, add my text, and this is where I can type that Empathy Day, just like we saw on the iPad version. Hold on one second. And one of the things I love is the fact that, you know, it will change size with me. I'm gonna just make it so it's on 2 lines, and just like we saw, I'm gonna move it into the upper right. But this is where things kind of get a little bit different, as we just saw. So whereas it was magic text on the iPad, notice under my text layout options, I have a few options here. I can choose circle or arch or bow to get them to look differently, right? Make it look really exciting and cool. But I actually want to go with dynamic. And what dynamic does is it allows that text to change as we add. Notice we have how it actually filled it out so that day is a little bit bigger and fills up the space just like empathy. Now, when I was in the classroom, one of the things that always drove me crazy, I don't know if this was your experience too, Meredith, but if I gave 20 minutes for students to work on a project, I'd come back and see what they did at the end of 20 minutes, and they were still looking for fonts, right? Yeah. And I will tell you, there are 40,000 something fonts in here, so the chance of you getting through all your fonts is not going to happen. But one of the things that makes this so much easier in the browser version is, notice I have this recommended here. If I look at recommended and say view all, based on the words, it uses AI to try to figure out, well, what type of font might I want to be using for this? And let's say I see a font I like, but maybe it's not exactly the one I want. Like I kind of like this one, but it's not exactly what I want. There's two little wavy lines here, and that says show more like this one. So this will actually look through all the fonts and find fonts just like this one. So instead of having to look through all those fonts to find something, I can really just find the exact one I want. You know what? I like this one. I'm going to use that. Awesome. And now I am back, and we have our empathy.
Yeah.
We've now chosen our font. We're ready to go.
Cool. We're back. We're back on the iPad. Brill. Thanks, Jesse. That's great. Yeah. So next, we're going to look at color schemes. So we're going to use the Adobe color themes, so color palettes that Adobe put together because they look nice together. And we're going to use that throughout this challenge. Okay. So on the iPad, with nothing selected at the bottom ribbon, you can see it says colors. So if I tap on that, it shows me all of the different types of color schemes that I've got. So I've got suggested, modern, retro, neutral, professional, classic, bold, pastel, color pop. Now I love a pastel color scheme myself. So I'm going to tap on the three dots next to those four pastel color schemes, and it's going to show me even more pastel color themes. Okay, so I'm going to choose a theme that I like that's got a set of colors that I really like, and I'm going to choose this one here. And then you can see on that color scheme that I've tapped on that there's a shuffle button. Okay, and I'm just going to shuffle through that color scheme. And what I'm shuffling to see is I want to get the color in the background that I want. That's what's important. First of all, I want to think, right, what color do I want right in the back of my design? And I think I want that lovely shade of green, whatever that is.
And
okay?
One of the things I love about that shuffle feature is you can do that even if you don't decide to do your colors till later. You can shuffle once you have all your objects on the screen. So it doesn't have to happen in the beginning. You can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could do it right at the end. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's brilliant. Right. Oh, we got another shout out. S. Phillips, Prowndar from Year 5 at Ysgol Darwen in Llanelli. Hello, good afternoon. Prowndar to you in Darwen. Thanks for the shout out. Get your shout outs in, teachers. We love seeing where you're joining us from on these sessions. Right. So next step is with this text box that I've got, I want to add a black outline to this. So I'm going to tap done on my color scheme window, right in the bottom right-hand corner there. Just tap done. I'm going to select my text, and I want to add an outline. So to do that on the iPad, I need to go to Effects on that bottom ribbon. Effects, and then I go to Outline, and it's giving me a crazy pink outline. So I'm just going to change the color of that to black, and just bring the thickness down a little bit. There we go. Cool. I think that the empathy and day are a bit far away from each other, so I'm going to change my spacing. Just tuck up the lines a little closer together. Cool. Now then, here's the fun bit. Let's make some 3D text, Jesse. So I'm going to put that text box in the top left-hand corner of my page, like this. And then under the Edit menu, I'm going to duplicate it. Now, on the iPad, I'm only going to duplicate it 5 times. But on the browser, you could do it 8 times could work. It's a little trickier on the iPad to change colors. So I'm going to duplicate this 5 times. So you can see under Edit, I've got the duplicate button. I'm just going to tap that 5 times. Here we go. 1, 2, oops. Didn't want to do that. Cancel that. 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's already looking cool.
Wow, that is cool.
What I can do now is I can pinch in. I can just pinch in to get really close. So what I want to do is I want to change the color of these text boxes that I've got. Okay, so if I just try and get the one right at the back is fine because that's one of my theme colors. So I'm going to try and get the next one. There we go. That one. Fine. And then I'm going to go to color. And I'm going to change that. You can see on the left-hand side, I've got my theme colors there. So I can go to that green. And then I can go to the next text box. Oh, you need to hit done every time, okay? Once you're done, I just cancelled it. There we go. Just go to that green. Done. Right. Next text box. Change that to the pink. Done. Next text box. Change that to the yellow. Done. And then next text box. change that to whichever one of these colors I want. Try to avoid using the actual background color. You notice that I haven't used the that kind of strong green.
But one of the things I love too is when you picked your palette before, all those palette colors are there, so you don't have to go like looking through everything and try to figure out what colors. You know that color palette that you selected for the whole project is going to be there, so it makes it really easy to pick colors for your layers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then we're going to be reusing those colors for our shapes and our text later on as well. Right, once we get to the final text box, the one that's right in the front, this is going to be a bit different. So on this one, you're allowed to use one of the colors from your theme, but you can also use black or white. Okay, so your theme is basically the colors in your theme and black and white. So I'm going to change this front one to white. Okay. Oh, I've just changed the one behind it. Hang on. I need to hit done, tap on it, change that front one to white. Cool. And then on just this front text box, we're going to bring up the line thickness as well. Okay, so I'm going to tap on it. I'm going to go to Effects. And under my outline, I'm just going to bring that line thickness up. And then the final little bit of fun stuff on this is that just this front one, I want to make it a little bit see-through so I can see the colors of the different text boxes behind. So I'm going to go to opacity, and I'm going to bring that down. And I'm only bringing it down to about 90%. Okay, you don't need to bring it all the way down like that. Otherwise, it just doesn't exist. I'm only bringing the opacity down to about, yeah, something like 90% is fine. And you can just start seeing those layers behind in that text. It's really cool. Right, that's me done with my text layers. So I'm going to pass over to Jesse, who's going to do the same. Okay, so there we are, Jesse. We're on your screen.
So here's where we left off on the browser.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going to learn something today from Reddit because there's one thing you showed that I was like, how did I do that on the browser? I wasn't sure. So starting off with what we had, we changed our theme. Now, before you saw him scrolling down on the bottom, we have a little theme button right up here in the top. When I click that theme, notice it shows those categories of themes, but it's also searchable. So pastel, we have a category here, but even if I wanted to search for a holiday or something, and you know what? I hadn't tried this. I'm going to actually search for empathy and see what comes up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these scream empathy to me, but you know what? We'll go with it. We'll go with it a little bit, right?
I think the whole idea of empathy is not to scream. So,
right.
you know.
We'll pick the first one. We don't know why, but so we picked it. I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to shuffle it up a little bit. I don't know if I have one that's as light as I'd like for the background. So let's look here. And again, this is, remember I mentioned before that we could get stuck on font selection. Well, the same thing happens with colors. So I may actually just switch to a pastel just to keep us rolling here. Let's go with
some good options in there. Oh, he's gone for a good one.
Yeah, I think I liked you going with the pastels. That was a good move. So let me get one that's a little. We're so close. We're so close.
Everybody in school is.
Like I know what I want.
Yeah. If everybody turns it around,
you know what? We're gonna do a little cheat here, which is we're gonna go here, and then just pick the color for this from the palette. Because notice we talked about this before. Once you select your theme, notice it shows up as your page theme. So I now have all those. Actually, I didn't want that. I wanted it for the objects. The text color.
Cool. Yeah. So the next thing I did then on that first text box was an outline.
Here we go. Okay, perfect. The next thing we did, actually we wanted white for this. The next thing we did was we did that duplication. Now
I did an outline first. If you want to do an outline
first. Okay. So what we're going to do is under my text option, notice outline is currently not selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually choose it and make it and give myself that black background that we have. And again, there's a little slider right underneath that allows me to control for thickness of that. I really like that. So actually, this is not so bad. So I now have that selected. The next thing we did was start that duplication piece. Now, on the iPad, right, we only did it 5 times because it could be a little tricky. But here, it's actually pretty easy. I just have to right click and notice there's a duplicate option and it says Control D. So actually I'm going to duplicate it once with my mouse and then I'm going to try doing the next bunch with my keyboard. So notice I didn't even need to use my mouse. I just with my keyboard made all those additional ones, and I like this, but I gotta be honest, yours looks cooler. I'm just saying, I like yours.
Once you get your color, once you get the colors, then you'll be laughing. So it's easier for Jesse because he's got the layer stack on the right hand side, so he can actually.
One thing I didn't do before duplicating that you did that I wasn't sure how to do, and I would love you to tell me how to do it, is how do I reduce the spacing between the?
Oh yeah. So underneath your font picker, where the font size is, you got that little spacing icon to the right, down.
There. Oh, so you know what? I'm gonna do a little cheat here. I'm gonna undo all these. I'm gonna go back to that first one. I'm gonna change that line spacing a little bit.
Oh, there it is.
Now, because I know I can just do that Control D, I'm gonna redo it. Oops.
Yeah, and if you want to use, there's a button for duplicate under text on the left-hand side as well, guys. If you want to use just a button. So in the left-hand panel, they've got text, and there's the duplicate icon there as well. So you can do Control D, you can use the duplicate button, or you can right-click duplicate. Right. Looks like you got a bunch of them there, Jesse.
All right. So now that I have them here, again, notice on the right-hand side, I can see the individual layers for all the objects that I have here. We're going to start off with the second one over there. And under the fill, which is going to control what color is my text, notice when I press it, the page theme one gives me the palette options that we selected before. So now I can start to choose a couple of different colors. Move down one in the row. And notice they're in reverse order here, right? The first one, as we added layers, they stacked up to the top. So I know that my first one is down at the bottom. The one that's in the front is up at the top. And I can work that way. So I'm going to just keep selecting fill, changing my colors, moving up the row. And I'm like alternating between lighter and darker.
Jesse's having fun here, I can tell.
Yeah, right?
We got another shout out. Hello to you, 4L in Glencoyd Primary. Following along, Shwai, Glencoyd, 4L. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the shout out as well. Miss Spurnis, I think. I don't know. I think so. I hope I didn't say your name wrong there, Miss. Sorry. Right.
And then once we got to the front, remember that last thing that Moretta did was change the opacity. Now, opacity is something that is such an underrated feature for adding like some real pop to your images, because sometimes letting that background pop out is one of the best things you could do. And you could do a lot of cool things with opacity. Like, for instance, if you had a whole background covered up by a space and created objects and then made them opaque, it allows you to see through. So it's really a great feature. So I'm going to just reduce. I think 90% was where we landed before.
Yeah, that's where I went. Yeah,
and then I do 90%. You can see those layers coming through.
Yeah, and I don't know whether maybe you don't want to do it, Jesse. That's totally fine. But I did increase the line thickness just on my front.
For the first one,
just to make it stand off a bit. But
I'm going to do that as well. Hold on. Let's see. Boom.
Cool. Right. Now then, what I'm going to do next is I want to group all these together. So I want to move them around, and I don't want to do them separately because that would be an absolute nightmare. So I want to turn all of those different text boxes into just one thing, a group of text boxes. So that's pretty easy to do on the browser. You can just drag a box over everything and then click group. On the iPad, it's a little bit more fiddly. So let's go. So to group everything, I just choose one thing. So I'm just going to tap on that front text box. Okay. And then down at the bottom ribbon, we got edit. And you can see under the edit menu on the iPad, it says select multiple. So I'm going to do that, select multiple. And you could here just kind of choose loads of different things separately to group them. But I can also tap on all. And seeing as that this is the only thing I've got so far is these text boxes. Now is the perfect time for me to group them. So I'm just going to tap all in the bottom there. So it's chosen all of those text boxes. And now I'm going to go next. And you can see under edit, it now says group. The first option there under edit is group. So I can group it. And now all of those text boxes are kind of locked together, which means I can do stuff like this. I can resize the whole group and I can rotate the whole group without having to do, can you imagine having to do every one of those layers separately? We'd be here until Christmas. That's what would happen. No. Okay, so I'm going to rotate it, and you want it to look as if it's kind of flying onto the page from the top left. Make sure that you don't totally hide all those cool layers you've made. Don't do that, because that's just going to hide all those cool layers. So I want to see the layers, but also kind of it's cool to have them kind of overlapping slightly and a little bit hidden off the edge of the page. So group all your layers, and then once you've got them grouped, you can resize and angle them. Right, we are back with you, Jesse. Go.
So now where we have a little bit of an advantage, right, and you just showed this before, instead of having to select multiples, I just literally highlight all the layers here. And then
you browser guys.
Now all of a sudden they're grouped. This is going to be a lot quicker. So I have my grouped assets, right? So notice that now they're moving together as one. But what we saw happen on the iPad was we have that little button here that allows me to start to give an angle to it. And where we have a little bit, the more layers we have, the more flexibility we have about making that pop come out of the screen. So as we start to kind of move it, and I might want to actually start to make this a little bigger.
Yeah, cool.
Needs to be some space here. And now, right, we have that empathy day flying out from the side of the page. And I love the fact that Meredith had us do that, because it implies, right, it gives us this feeling of movement when there is none. So even though you can use this tool to animate and create video, it shows the power of what we could do with just text.
Yeah, man. Yeah, love it. Cool. All right. Okay. So next, then we're back on the iPad. We're gonna speed things up a little bit now, because the next few steps are definitely easier. We want to have some bubbles. Okay. Again, these bubbles are going to be based on our color scheme, the theme that we've chosen for our design. So we want a bubble for the year, so 2024. A bubble to say my empathy resolution is. A bubble for an image that kind of depicts that, and then a bubble for you to type your resolution, the big bubble. So we need 4 bubbles, okay? So for these bubbles, we're just going to use basic circles with an outline, because we want to kind of echo that black outline that we've got on the text in the other elements on the page. So I'm going to go to Add Shapes, okay? So I've got Add Shapes. None of those is the circle I want. So I'm going to tap on More in the right-hand side. And there we are. The first option there, top left-hand, it's a circle with an outline. So I'm going to choose that. And you can see, you can't see it actually because it's behind. You can see the logo, our Adobe Express logo in the top right-hand corner. Hidden behind that, there's a little button that says Add One. So I'm going to touch on that. And there we are. That's added that in. Now then, here we go. Here's what I want to do with this. First things first. Is that outline needs to be black. So I'm going to go to color, and I'm going to change the border color to black. Now then, the fill color, so I'll hit done on that. The fill color can be any one of the colors in your theme. Okay, so maybe I'll go for this lovely pink. There we go. And I'm just going to pop that over there in the corner. And again, I really like this 90% opacity thing. So I'm going to just drop the opacity down, overlap it a little bit there with the letter Y, like that. And then I want to just eyeball that my line thicknesses are the same. So don't worry about kind of getting the number exactly right. I'm just going to go into effects on here. Where am I? Border, sorry. I'm going to go to border, and I'm just going to eyeball that. There we go. There is the same thickness as that I've got on the text. Right, now that I've done that, I'm going to duplicate this circle. I needed 4, remember? I needed 4 bubbles, so I'm going to duplicate this 3 times. I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go Duplicate, move that over here, Duplicate, move that down there, Duplicate, move this over here. Right, so what I'm going to do now is this one is going to be big because this is where I'm going to type my resolution. So you can see when you make a circle bigger, it actually increases the border thickness as well. So you'll notice that I'm doing a lot of going back to my borders and just tweaking them because I want all the borders to kind of be the same thickness. This one could be a bit bigger as well and peeking in like that. So that border thickness needs to come down. And this one is going to say my empathy resolution is, so that can be there. And again, I like the opacity thing, so I'm going to overlap the D. Right, now I'm going to pass over to Jesse, but when you come back to me, these bubbles are all going to be different colors. Okay, that's what I'm going to do whilst Jesse's showing you how to get your circles in, is I'm going to go to each bubble, go to color, change the fill to one of my theme colors. Okay, so by the time you're back with me, I'll have changed the colors on these. Right, Jesse, off you go.
Okay, so on the browser version, we can find our shapes under elements. So notice under elements, there's a bunch of different categories here: design assets, backgrounds, shapes, icons, charts. I'm going to go under shapes, and actually I'm going to choose the second circle that you can see has a little outline around it already. And notice it dropped it in with white, with the using one of our palette colors as the background. I'm actually going to change those. So I want my border color to be black, which is what we saw just a second ago. And for the fill, I kind of like that. I'm going to leave that actually. So border thickness is already at 22. I'm going to, I don't want that. I'm going to lower it a little bit. Leave it at 19. Actually, leave it there. And this is where now I'm going to first, before I do anything, I'm going to position it, make it a little bit bigger. And again, remember, we did that opacity lowering to 90. Again, we like that little effect of being able to see what's behind. So you can see, notice if you're looking at the corner of the circle, you can see how it's kind of peeking out, that Y. And this is where now I'm going to make 4 of those bubbles by duplicating. So I'm going to Control D, Control D, Control D, and move them to my various locations. I feel like this is like a memory game now where I'm trying to remember where we put all of our circles.
You can put them where you want, Jesse. Yeah. This is your design.
Right. So I don't remember if we had this peeking out or not. But you know,
yeah.
But the beauty of creativity is we can have whatever we want.
Absolutely.
There's no right or wrong answers except when we're wrong. Okay. So moved our circles here. We have this one sitting out. I'll make this one a little bit bigger. And then on this one, because this is the one that I changed the size of, I'm going to go back and then notice how it increased that thickness to 62. If I want to know the exact number, notice they're all a little bit different. These two are 29. This one's 25. I can actually make this 29 if I want them to all match. And on this one, I'm actually going to, rather than use the slider, since I know they're all 29, why mess around? Now I have them all exactly the same.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. So, and then change the color of each one to a different color on your theme, if you would, Mr. Lubinsky.
Since you did that off the screen, I kind of wanted to see yours first. I didn't want to start, but I can do that. So just to show you how we can change the color, when we click on each circle, remember, we have 2 options for any of these for color. We have the border and we have the fill. So the border was, again, that outline. The fill is what's going to be inside. And again, remember, on the browser version, when we choose fill, under page theme, we'll see the colors that we can use that are part of our palette. Now, it doesn't mean we're limited to those, because again, remember, it's recommending some other colors that might be complementary to what we have on the screen. So if I chose one of these colors, that might not be part of our palette, but that does kind of look really good, right?
It does. It works. It works. Yeah.
Yeah, it works. So you know, sometimes it might be worthwhile to actually see what those recommendations are and you know, choose those. I kind of like that, actually.
That looks really nice, Jesse. Yeah,
I'm really feeling it. I am feeling it. And one thing I'm noticing too is the recommended color selections are kind of changing as I'm bouncing along. So I kind of all right.
It's clever because they, you know, you've used them and they really do work. So yeah, cool. Right. Okay. So now we just want to fill these bubbles up. Okay. So I'm going to add text. And this first one is just going to be 2024, which is obviously this year, guys, if we didn't know that. Right, so I'm going to use the same font again. A lot of these fonts have got different kind of weights available. So you'll have lighter versions or thicker versions available. So you could maybe use a slightly lighter version if you want. So I'm going to go to font. I'm going to stick to that same font that I've got, I think. Yeah, I've got the medium there. No, I'll go to the heavy. Yeah, that works for this. So I'm just going to pop that in. Now then, you know the angle that I've got on Empathy Day? I'm going to kind of go the opposite way with 2024. I don't know why. If Kyle Webster was with us here, he'd be able to tell me exactly why I wanted to do that. But I don't know why. He'd be able to explain it, but he's not here, so we can't explain it. Right. So then let's go to color. Choose one of your theme colors. So I'll go for this lovely pale yellow, and I'm going to go to effects, and I'm going to go to outline again, and let's just get a black outline on that. Now, I've noticed that Jesse likes to get his measurements exact, and I'm definitely more of a something like that looks about right kind of guy.
I was a math teacher. I can't help it.
Oh, yeah, of course you were, yeah. Right, so now I'm just going to add another text box, okay? So I'm just going to go to add text. And in this one, I'm going to type my empathy resolution is empathy resolution is ellipsis ... Done. Oh wow, what a mess. Look at that. Look at so let's get a black outline on that text. Thank you. And now I'm just gonna move it around, resize it a bit, use the side handles to sort my lines out. There we go. And this circle doesn't need to be this small, really. It could be bigger, couldn't it? So let's do that. Let's get that in there. Yeah, that fits nicer now in there. I could reduce my line spacing here as well if I wanted to, but it's working okay. Right, so I got the year. I've got my empathy resolution is, okay. I'm not feeling that brown, so I'm going to change that to, there we go. And now I'm going to add another text box. And in here, I'm going to actually type my empathy resolution for this year. Okay, so I'm going to pass over to Jesse because I'm going to think of something that I need to sort out and be a better person. So I'm going to pass over to Jesse and I'm going to type up my empathy resolution to put in that big bubble. So Jesse's going to give us the date and the my empathy resolution is ... Right, there you are.
And
he's already got it.
I've already started messing with my fonts a little bit, and I'm not loving what I'm seeing. But you know, I'm gonna again remember what I said. You could get very lost in the fonts if you're not careful. So all I did was create a text box, wrote the number 2024, and then literally just looked through my recommended fonts, chose one. This one's called Bungee. But notice under my fill, again, I could choose between my page theme colors or my recommended colors, whatever I want, or I could go completely, you know, off the grid and choose a custom color or whatever. But I have these options to choose from. I kind of like how they look. I'm going to go with that 2024 for that first bubble, and I get that placed again. Remember, always use those reference guidelines for help. Those can help place your text in the proper spot. And then the next one, right, we said is my empathy resolution
is, yeah.
And where is that one going?
That's in the top left bubble.
Okay, so I'm going to have to make this a lot smaller, or again, there's nothing stopping me from making that circle bigger if I want.
Yeah, I made my circle bigger. There was no reason for it to be so small at all.
Yep. And again, because as he noted that I remember my thickness was 29 across. I'll fix that. And then, now I have my text. I can move this up. And again, if you wind up finding that your resolution winds up taking up a little bit more space, you could always then adjust the circle afterwards, right? So there's nothing is locked or written in stone. Now, one thing I don't like is the text is actually in the same purple color as the other one. I kind of want to make it stand out a little bit more. Yeah, that light against the dark should work. Okay. And then are we actually writing our empathy resolution?
No, just my empathy resolution is in that
Or are we just creating the space?
And then the actual resolution goes in the big bubble in the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, so this so I could actually use more space for this.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Okay. So I have my empathy resolution is.
Cool. Right. I'm going to take over. Here we go. Here's my resolution. And my friends always tell me, well, not always, I'm not that terrible, but I have been told sometimes that when people are speaking to me that I'm not actually listening to them. I'm pretending to listen and I'm actually just waiting for my turn to speak again. So that's something that I need to improve to be a more empathetic person, is that when I'm listening, to actually listen, not just wait for my turn again. So I've got that done. I am going to just call out the important words here, again, using my color theme. So again, on the browser, this is going to be way easier because you can just highlight text and change the color, okay? But on the iPad, we've got something called secondary styles. So I can choose that text box. Notice as well, I actually just used a white font for this one because I want to use my theme colors to call out the important words, okay? So what I'm going to do is choose my text box, and then I'm going to go to edit, and then you'll see it says secondary style. The last option is secondary style. So tap on that. And it's suggesting that I want to, well, let's get the colors sorted first of all. Okay, so the outline is going to be black. And then the color is going to be one of my theme colors. I think I'm going to go for that pink. Oh, sorry, this is the outline. So let's get my outline black. Done. Change the text color to that pink. Cool. Right. Now, I don't need to highlight the word to, okay? The word I want to highlight is listen. So I just tap on the word listen. I think I'm freezing up. I think it's freezing up. I think it's frozen. Yeah, my iPad's frozen up, Jesse. So I'm gonna have to just restart it. So luckily, guys, oh, there it is. Express saves everything that you do. So
I love modeling by example, and nothing has ever gone wrong in a live demo in the history of live demo.
It crashed. So I'm sure some guys in school have had crashes today. When it crashes, just open the iPad app back up, go to my files, and then I'm going to open this up, edit, and pretty much everything's going to be there. Yeah, there it is. Everything's still there. Okay, here we go. So let's do that again. Choose my text, secondary style. Okay, I want the outline to be black, and I want the text color to be this cool pink. And then I can tap which words I want to highlight. So I tap on listen. And I'll tap on to get rid of the pink from that. And then I want others are speaking. There we go. I've now called out the most important words in that bubble. Okay, right. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to pass over to Jesse because when Jesse's got that text done, that's all we need to do is fill our final bubble with an image and we'll be finished with our first challenge. Right, there you are, Jesse. You are live.
So one thing I'm going to do is copy the text that I had in here and paste it in here as a starting point, only so that I have the same font.
Yeah, so you'll have the same outline, the same color, same font.
Yeah, just so, and I can make modifications of it. Exactly. So I can make changes, but notice how it keeps some consistency. And I'm going to change the font. But one thing I did in between being on the screen was I did add what do you call it? Outline. Added an outline.
Oh yeah, cool.
So my empathy resolution is, and wait, this is 201. Go back there. This is a precision game here. Okay.
It's a culture clash. It's a culture clash. Jesse likes to have font sizes and line thicknesses to be precisely perfect, and then I am
right now. I am going to make it dynamic just for now because I want to just type and get it to fit in the space. And I'll fix it up later. But my resolution is to actually, we're starting off with 2 for this one. This is the hard part where I have to share with you what I think my resolution should be. I feel like, Moretta, you had a really good share. That was like, and actually, I probably have the same issue, but I don't want to steal your. Oh,
you're welcome to use it.
So
it's true for me, man.
To be more mindful about how other people may be feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be it.
That's a good one.
Because it's dynamic text, again, I could actually shape the box to.
Yeah, cool.
Make it fit. I can move this here. Expand that out a little bit. Now, the text, actually, we're going to have to change the color because that white on white is not going to work. So rather than change the background, I will change the color of my text. And I'll actually make that a darker color.
Nice. Yeah.
Leave that. And what I'm going to do is kind of a reverse of what we just saw in the other one. Rather than making specific words dark, I'll make specific words light. So mindful is a word that pops out here. And I will make that word a lighter shade from our palette. And feeling is another one. I'll do the same thing. And so now my empathy resolution is to be more mindful about how other people may be feeling.
That's really nice. Cool. Right, let's finish this off. All right, here we are. We're back on the iPad. So, quite simply, in that last one, you can place a photo or an icon or a design asset, something that helps deliver the message about what this is about. Now, on the iPad, we've got far fewer icons and design assets than you've got in the browser. So when I do this in the browser, I usually just would search in the icons for a listening ear or something like that, and I would just put it in there in one of my theme colors. But I can't do that on the iPad, so I'm actually just going to search for a photo. I'm going to go to Adobe Stock, and I'm just going to search for ear or listen. Let's try ear. There we go. Cool. There's some ears there. And I'm just going to choose one of them. Why can't I choose an ear? Why am I so slow at choosing ears? I'm going to go for this ear here. And then once you get the blue tick, I'm just going to add that to the page. Now then, you can see that this isn't in keeping at all with the rest of the design. Okay, so I'm going to crop this to a circle, first of all. Done. Pop that down there in that circle, but it's still not in keeping because of the colors. Okay, we want to echo our color scheme. So to do that, I'm going to use the duotone filter. So I'm going to go to Looks and then choose duotone. And then in the options there, I can click on the settings button to choose the colors that I want to use for my duotone. And of course, for these 2 colors, duotone, I'm going to use 2 colors from my theme. So I'm going to click on shadows and I'm going to choose the brown color in my theme. And then the highlights, I'm going to choose maybe this or the pink or the yellow, the pink, I think. No, the green. The green, yeah. There we go. And now you can see that by using that duotone filter, the colors on that photo are still toning in with my whole design. Right. So I'm done on the iPad. If you finish and you want to save that to your camera roll, or if you want to publish the link to share with your teacher or with your parents or with your folks or your friends or whatever, then in the top right-hand corner of the screen, underneath the Adobe Express icon, there's a bucket with an arrow pointing up. If I tap on that and click share, Then I've got options. First option is save image. That's just going to save this to my camera roll on the iPad. But if I scroll all the way over to the right, there's copy link, which will give me a link where this will be published on the internet on its own web page for people to visit your wonderful design. Right, that's me done on the iPad. Let's pass over to Jesse then for that final image and how to share it out. There we are.
I'm gonna give you one big tip that I love here that you can do on the browser. That, you know, we saw Meredith search, and you could search for, you know, pictures, you could search for icons, and they're all in separate places, right? So on my browser here, I have media, I have photos and videos. I also have all those different elements that we saw before, right? The design assets, the background, the shapes, the icons. But sometimes I just want to look for everything. I want to see everything all at once. Well, you see there's a little magnifying glass up here in the upper left-hand corner. If I choose search there, and let's say I'm going to search for empathy. Well, it's going to give me all of the different assets related to empathy in all those different categories. So rather than me try to figure out which thing I want to see, I can actually see it all together, right? So I could either go, right now I'm thinking I love both of these, the photo with the hands clasping, and also notice I have an icon like this. Since Meredith went with the photo, I'm going to go with the icon here. And icons are one color graphics, right? So they're only one color. I can't get really granular with them, but notice I can fit that right into my image here. If I did want to do something funky with the background, I could always do that. I could take an image. I could take an image theoretically, and let's say I just want to add this as well. For a second here, I could take this. I could remove the background just to get the hands.
He's showing off now, guys. He's showing off now. Now then.
Wonder how bad this will look if I do that.
Oh, it's very creative there, Jesse. I like that.
Trying some stuff out. So I'm just gonna, rather than do a duotone, I'm gonna do this layered photo and icon graphic over there.
Cool.
Which is super deep in meaning that I spent hours thinking about.
That's brilliant. How would you share your wonderful design with the world, Jesse? What if you wanted
to print it out? Fortunately, there's a number of ways for me to do that. I can either click the download button and download this as either a graphic or a PDF. Typically, we advise PDFs if you're going to be printing it, but otherwise, you could use one of these graphics. Or I could share it as a published web page. So I could just hit share. I could invite other people to join and actually use this as well. Or I could click publish to web and get a web link, which I could then share out. And the nice part about sharing out a web link is that if I decide to make updates, they'll already have the updated version of the link. So I would just click publish link, and it will give me a link to this graphic.
That's amazing. Now then, Jesse is actually going now to go and teach some children in New York. So he's going to have to leave.
Now I have to switch my gears from UK to NYC, and that is going to be a big adjustment. But thank you so much, everyone, for letting me join you today. This was great. I hope I get to join you again soon, and have a great Empathy Day.
Well, you do, Jesse, because you're joining me tomorrow morning, if you remember, for you.
That's right. I remembered.
Tomorrow, guys, if you're joining us tomorrow as well, we've got it's World Ocean Day, and we've got a special activity. And actually, this activity has got extra prizes given by Sky TV. Sky the Edit, part of you can enter Sky the Edit competition with the work we're doing in the Ocean Day activities tomorrow, and you'll not only get the Adobe swag, but you'll also get some Sky prizes as well, which sounds really cool.
I'm excited, and I can't wait to share about my favorite oceans. I'm going to share all of my favorite oceans tomorrow.
On behalf of everyone who's in the UK, Jesse, thanks so much for joining us. And those of you that are with us tomorrow, we'll see Jesse again. But otherwise, thank you very much. And thanks a lot. It's been amazing to have your input and to see how you did the empathy poster. So you go now. You're busy. You go. Brilliant. Right. Now then, guys, we're moving on to the second activity, the second challenge. So I'm here on the browser now. And so as I said, we can't go on the iPad here. I'm afraid. So let me just, there we go. Jesse's gone. That's fine. He's gone. Don't cry, guys. He's gone, but we will see him again. So we're going to be creating this avatar, and then we're going to be giving the avatar different emotions, and you'll have a chance to give your avatar loads of different emotions. So we've got 20 minutes of the session left, and that's plenty of time to be putting this together. Right, so this is browser only, as I said. So if you're on your iPads, then maybe you iPad guys, you can spend some more time tweaking your empathy poster and adding some more stuff in there and making it your own design. Right, okay, let's get drawing. So here I am, I'm on the Adobe Express homepage, and I'm gonna click on the big blue tile that says, draw a picture, because that's what we're gonna do. If anybody's got any shout outs, then please give us a whoop whoop, and we'll put your names up on screen, teachers, that'd be great. Also, whilst we're here, if you are taking any photos and posting them online of your class having fun doing this activity, if you're sharing them on social media, then it'd be great if you tagged us in there as well. So you can tag us, where is it? Here it is. You can tag us. So Adobe for Edu. If you want Jesse to see, then tag Adobe for Edu. The whole US team will see it as well then. And then tag Dom Trainer in because he loves seeing what you're doing on these sessions, and he'll be back with us next week. And then I can be found at Meredith J. So if you're posting anything online, then please tag us in there so that we can see what you've been up to. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, we'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe on this video and on this YouTube channel. You wouldn't believe how much that actually helps us out. So a like and a subscribe on the video would be fantastic. Right, let's get drawing, guys. So first things first is we want a cool background to our canvas. So feel free to pick whatever brush you want, because we just need to cover this entire page. Okay, so there's some really cool ones in the multicolor brushes. My personal favorites are in the art supplies. I love the art supplies brushes, and my go-to favorite is the French Impressionist brush. So you just need to fill your entire page with brushes that you think look cool. Okay, because this is all about you and your personality. Use a big brush so that you can fill the page faster. Okay, so I'm going to choose this. I love this shade of blue, and I'm going to make the brush as big as possible, and I'm just going to paint over the whole page. Okay, so just paint your whole page. Get that whole canvas covered up in paint. All right, and we're not going to take too long on this. This is the quick bit, okay? We're gonna the hard work is when we're actually making our avatar and giving our avatar some emotions. So don't spend ages filling up your background. So if you've got some time, you could use maybe the spatter brush. Spatter brush is cool as well. So you could just, there we go, put some splats of paint around the place. Okay, so I've just used the French Impressionist and the splatter, and I tell you which one I really like. It's the watercolor fill brush, because you can make it big and go quite strong. And you can see it takes a long time for it to actually color. So you can really put some cool lights and shades on your page with the watercolor fill brush. Love that. Love that. Right, I think I'm done with painting up my background. So why aren't I stopping? You're asking. It's because I'm having too much fun. So let's go and make the outline for our avatar. Okay, so here you see the white outline. So we're going to start off with that. Right. So for the white outline, I'm going to go right to the top, to the basic brushes, to the first brush there, which is the hard round brush. And I need white paint. And I need my brush to be as big as possible, 1,000 pixels. Okay, so hard round, white paint, big as possible. Now then, take your time. You're going to try and get one click right in the middle of your canvas. And if you get it wrong, you've got the undo button up in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so I'm going to try and get it right in the middle. There. And I just click once. Cool. Because that's where the head's going to be. So now I need to sort out the shoulders. So to do this, I'm going to bring the brush size down. Okay. And I'm trying to make a kind of half circle overlapping this circle for the shoulders. Now then, there's a really cool trick on Express that I want to teach you about. Because if I just try and draw it, I'm probably going to have wobbly lines. Okay, have a look at this. Oh, that's a wobble. Oh, Okay, so that's not very tidy. It's not very neat. Okay, now then, watch me undo that. Now then, watch what happens. I'm going to do the same thing. Try and draw a nice semicircle across the bottom. But when I get to the end of the semicircle, I'm not going to let my mouse button go. I'm just going to keep my hand still, not move the mouse, keep it still, and keep the button pressed down. And when you do that, Express takes that as a sign that you want it to help you tidy up the lines. Okay, so watch this. It snaps to a shape. That's what it's called. So I'm just going to do the same thing. When I get to the end, I'm going to stop moving the mouse and I'm going to keep my finger held down. And watch what happens to the line. Okay, so I've got, ooh, there's a wobble there. There's a wobble there. Now I'm going to hold still. And see that? It's actually, and I'm still holding the mouse button down right now. And when you do that, look what happens. You can actually resize and move it around as well, even. Okay? But it's now this perfect kind of curve. And I can move it around, resize it, get the angle perfect, and then I can let it go when I'm happy with it. It's a cool trick, isn't it? It's called Snap to Shape, and it's new to the drawing app. So whenever you're drawing a shape, if you hold the mouse button down and stay still at the end of it, if it's something similar to a normal shape or straight lines, then Express will kind of snap your line to be a little bit neater. All right, so now I'm just going to bring up the brush size and I'm just going to fill that in like that. Cool. So I've got my background ready for my avatar. So next we're going to go for the head. Okay, so we're going to go for the head next. So for the head, I'm going to go for this lovely orange. Now, we don't want to be 1,000 pixels because that's exactly the same size as the white circle. So I'm going to bring that down to something like 800. And again, I'm trying to get this right in the middle of the white circle. There. And if you're not happy, you just step back, undo, try again. Cool. Now, a shirt. So I'm wearing a black t-shirt today. So I'm going to try and make this avatar look like me. So I'm going to do the same as I did with the white at the bottom. I'm going to do the same this time with black paint. So I got black paint. And I'm just going to try and draw a neat semicircle. Oh, that's a wobble. Oh, that's a bump. And when I get to the end, I'm going to hold still. There it is. And it's given me a nice, neat semicircle. Now then. I think it went too high. It's too close to the face. I'm going to undo that and try again. Undo. Try again. There we go. Hold still. Pop. Cool. There we go. That's better. And same again. I'm just going to bring the brush size up a little bit and paint it in. There we go. So let's get a neck connecting the head to the body. So I'm going to drop my brush down to kind of around there, 250-ish, between 200 and 250 is fine. And I'm going to go to my orange paintbrush. And again, I'm just going to paint a straight line down from the head to the body. And I'm going to stop kind of there. There we go. And you can do the same. You see, so it's now this just a straight line. And you can move it around. So I just want that bottom bit of the circular brush to look like my collar on my t-shirt. So not like that, but not like this either. Just kind of like that. So that it looks like a round collar on my t-shirt. Brilliant. Love it. All right, cool. What's coming next? Well, you may have noticed on the challenge page, on our example, that the side of our avatar's head is kind of squared off a bit. So let's try and do that. So to do that, we're going to go to the square brush, white paint. I'm going to bring that right down to around kind of 80-ish, 72, that's fine. And what I want to do is just paint over that curve on both sides. And again, I can do this if I try and do a straight line down and hold still, it'll snap to a line, okay, which is a good idea. So I'm going to go down straight as I can, stop, and it's snapped. See, so it's snapped to this line, and now I can use that to kind of get a a nice, neat, straight as I can line. Cool. And I'll do the other side. Same again. Down. Hold still. It snapped to the line. I'm still holding my mouse button down. There we go. Cool. Right. Some ears. So let's get some ears in. I'm going to choose, go back to the hard round brush. Go back to my orange that I had for my head. And this brush needs to be smaller than 230. It needs to be more kind of around the 150. Okay. And I'm going to just come to the middle of my head on the straight edge and click. Middle of my head on the straight edge and click. There are my ears. Cooler. Right. Now then, what's coming next? Well, next, let's get some shadow under the chin and in the ears. So with the same brush, we're going to bring down the size to around 60. And I'm going to darken this orange, okay, because it's in shadow. So to darken the color, choose the color you want, this orange, and then you can click on the settings button and go to custom, and then I can just darken it. Cool. And now I'm just going to paint a shadow in the ear there, another shadow in the ear there. And then I'm going to paint a shadow under the chin. Oh, a bit too big. Try again. Bit too big again, but I'm being fussy now. There we go, like that. Cool. So that's done. Right then, we got 10 minutes left, and we are bang on time, guys. Things are looking good. So now, with this brush on 61, yeah, I think that's about the right size. On 61, I'm going to put the nose in. So I'm going to change my paint to red. Now then, my nose is going to try and be right in the middle of the head, and it's going to start in line with the top of the ears, and it's going to come down just a little bit further down than the bottom of the ears. So I'm going to start about here, straight line down. Again, remember, when I get to the bottom, if I hold still, if my line was wobbly, Express will snap it to the shape. It'll snap it to a straight line. So let's give it a go. Straight down, hold still. There we go. And now I've got it snapped. It means I can just get this exactly the right length and the right angle. Like that. Brilliant. And now with the same brush and the same size, I'm just going to change to black paint, and we're going to put the eyes in. So the eyes are going to go halfway between, kind of in line with the top of the nose, and halfway between the ear, the tip of the ear and the top of the nose. So we're going to go 1, 2. Oh, that's a bit too high, maybe. It's all right. It's okay. Let's try it again. Yeah, like that. Cool. Now then, this is where we get to start giving our avatar some emotion. Now, in the examples that we've got, on the challenge page, let me jump over. The nose and the eyes are the same in all of these examples. The only thing that's actually showing us the different emotions are the eyebrows and the mouth shape. Okay, so you can see that in our example here that we've drawn the eyebrows with a really thick round brush, and then we've got the mouth with a really thin round brush. Okay, so let's give it a shot. I'm going to go for happy first of all. Okay, and you're going to be able to draw a few different emotions, not just one. Okay, and I'll show you how now. So happy, we're going to draw a smile. And then we've got these nice curved eyebrows, kind of like this example that we've got here. But my guy's going to be even happier. He's got a bigger smile. Right. Okay. So I'm going to bring that down to around 30 for the mouth. And again, I'm going to use the snap to shape. So I'm going to try and draw a nice smile. But when I get to the end, I'm going to keep my mouse button pressed down. and it's going to sort that bump out. Oh, didn't enjoy that, did it? Let's try again. My bump was too much like a corner, and Express thought that it was an angle. Let's try again. There we go. It's giving me a nice curved line now. There we go. What a lovely smile. And now I'm going to bring my brush size up from 30 to around 60. Okay, so I'm always going to use 30 for the smile, for the mouth, and 60 for the eyebrows. So I'm going to just do that. Do you know what? I think I need to be thicker. I think that in the example, it's even thicker. So I'm going to go to 75 for the eyebrows. There we go. Cool. Great. All right. So I got 75 for the eyebrows and I've got 30 for the mouth. That's the size. And we're always using the hard round brush with a black paint. Now, what I can do is I can download that happy face. Let's give this a name first. Let's give this emotions avatar. Emotions avatar. Cool. Right, so I'm going to download my happy avatar. Let's click on download. PNG, download. Okay. Now, what you can do now, that's safely there in my downloads folder. But what you can do now is you can undo those last few steps. So you did the eyebrows and the mouth, and you can choose a different emotion. Okay, so I can go undo, 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 undo. Great. And now we're back to our eyes and the nose. So let's choose a different emotion. Let's go for worried. Let's go for worried. So for worried, the eyebrows are curved like happy, but they are higher up. Higher up. Okay. So I'm going to try and go higher up, and I'm going to try and do my worried eyebrows. I'm doing the eyebrows first this time because I'm already on the 75 brush size, so that's why, because I couldn't be bothered to change it to 30. So now I'll change it to 30 for the mouth. And the worried mouth is an unhappy mouth, but it's kind of to the side a little bit. So let's try and see if I can draw that. Hey, how's that for a worried emotion? That's cool. I mean, it's not cool that somebody's worried, but I like how we've been able to use the same avatar, the same face, the same eyes, the same nose, and show two totally different emotions. I'm going to download that. It is 12 minutes past, so we've got 3 minutes left. So I'm going to do one more. Okay. Where's my mouse pointer gone? Where's it gone? There it is. Right. So I'm going to undo, 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 undo. And let's make an angry person. So an angry person is going to have a wide, unhappy mouth. That just looks sad at the moment. So that's what makes somebody look angry. You'll be able to see it in the eyebrows. The eyebrows will be pulling downwards. Okay. An angry frown. Let's download that. Cool. So as you can see, you can keep doing this and undoing the eyebrows and the mouth. And you're just going to have this set of different emotions that you've drawn on your avatar with your cool custom background that you decided on. And you could create a gallery of emotions that you've made as a class. You can print them out, or you could pop them all together into a graphic, into a document on Express where you can collect them all together. Or your teacher could pop them all onto an Express web page to have a gallery of your emotions. Collect them all together. Right, there we go. We are done. We've got 50 seconds left. So what am I going to do with my 50 seconds? Well, I'm going to tell you to make sure, teachers, that you have a look at all of the stuff that we've got coming up now between now and the end of term. Okay, so teachers, get onto the bit.ly/Adobe Leaders, and you can see all of the sessions that we got. So there's more. There's some coming up that aren't even scheduled yet. The ones that are on there are only for June, but we've got them planned out till July. Okay, we've got I think 9 sessions between now and the summer holidays. Tomorrow is World Ocean Day, but we're also doing it on Monday as well. And remember that we've got those special prizes from Sky TV as well, if you want to enter that competition. So tomorrow or Monday, if you want to join us for the World Ocean Day, and that's a video editing challenge, and that'll work on iPads and browser as well. So Jesse will be with me tomorrow for that session, and then Dom will be with me for Monday session. So if you fancy any one of those sessions, then please get yourself registered. Make sure that you're registered, because you'll only that's the only way you'll get the links to the live streams, and you'll also obviously get the all-important form to claim the free swag for your class. Thanks for the comments. Thank you for that. We love it when we get comments from teachers telling us where they're joining us from. That's brilliant. If you've given us a like and a subscribe on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, then thanks a lot for that. It helps us out massively. Right, guys, we're done. I hope you've had a great time on this afternoon session. I've certainly had a lot of fun preparing these 2 challenges for Empathy Day. So I hope I'll see you soon. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow for World Ocean Day. It's been a blast. And hwyl fawr, bye-bye for today.